September 2025. Across the familiar night sky, telescopes simultaneously recorded a phenomenon never seen before: a colossal object with a tail 5 times longer than the full moon, cutting through the darkness like a white scar. The object was quickly named C/2025 R2, Swan. But unlike ordinary comets, Swan immediately shocked the scientific community with its overwhelming size. Early reports estimated it to be nearly 100 times bigger than 3I/Atlas, the interstellar visitor that had already shaken astronomers earlier this year. Swan acted like a mighty giant, bowing to nothing. Its core was surrounded by a blazing plasma halo that reflected like metal, and the energy it released was compared to tens of thousands of gigawatts, many times more than the entire power grid of Earth. And more frightening still, Swan was not alone. As it plunged toward its path near the Sun, 3I/Atlas was also approaching from another direction. Two colossal bodies independent of each other, yet converging in October. This no longer resembled a rare coincidence. It looked like a script written long ago, where one object served as the scout and the other, the giant fortress, was the mothership from beyond the cosmos. September 11, 2025. The Swan instrument aboard SOHO suddenly detected a strange object with an unprecedented brilliance. It was designated C/2025 R2, Swan, the 20th comet officially confirmed, yet it quickly outshone all others in sheer impact. From the very first images, Swan revealed extraordinary size. Many researchers estimated it could be hundreds of times larger than 3I/Atlas, the interstellar object that had already set the astronomical community ablaze with debate just a few months earlier. 3I/Atlas itself was considered a rare anomaly. Discovered in July, it was immediately placed on the list of objects unexplained by standard models. Spectroscopic readings of its surrounding gases revealed pure nickel, with almost no accompanying iron, an imbalance never seen in natural bodies. Normally, nickel and iron form together during stellar birth, so this absence forced many to ask, was Atlas truly a natural comet, or did it carry the signature of something artificial? And then, less than 3 months later, Swan appeared. Not only larger and brighter, but far more violent in scale than Atlas. If Atlas was a strange guest, Swan resembled a frozen giant, carrying energy that defied imagination. According to SOHO observations, Swan was not only shining with unusual brilliance, but also carried an exceptionally long tail, stretching across the sky to many times the diameter of the moon. Its sheer length and brightness made it one of the most spectacular comets visible to the naked eye in 2025, even before it reached perihelion. The back-to-back appearances left the scientific world divided. One side argued this was simply proof of the universe's boundless diversity. Comets can have strange properties, and perhaps we are witnessing nothing more than a rare sequence of natural events. The other side insisted that two anomalies emerging nearly in parallel could not be dismissed as coincidence, especially when both Swan and Atlas are on course to reach perihelion with the Sun just days apart, vanishing into the solar glare in October. For many independent researchers, the coincidence feels more like a script. If Atlas is the scout, a small probe arriving first, carrying strange data, then Swan is the mothership, massive and radiant, appearing last to mark the presence of an unknown power. The question grows heavier than any hypothesis. Are we facing a natural celestial cycle, or is this evidence that alien technology is operating right before humanity's eyes? The cosmos has always been the keeper of secrets, but rarely have two such anomalies appeared in the same moment. And the most unsettling truth is this: in just weeks, As Swan and Atlas disappear into the sun's blinding halo, humanity will lose its chance to watch. In that darkness, all that remains will be speculation and the anticipation of their return, carrying answers that may forever change how we see the universe. On the orbits of the solar system, every object follows its own path. Some are born from the distant Oort cloud, others arrive from interstellar space, but they almost never meet at the same place and time. Yet by the end of 2025, that unlikely scenario is unfolding. Two massive celestial bodies, different in origin and trajectory, both rushing toward the sun only days apart. On one side is C/2025 R2 Swan, the icy torch that stunned astronomers with its overwhelming scale. On the other side is 3I/Atlas, the rare interstellar visitor that has stirred debate from the start. Their flight paths are independent. Swan follows a curved orbit bound by the solar system, while 3I/Atlas races on a hyperbolic course, here once and gone forever. Yet the International Astronomical Union's Minor Planet Center confirm both will reach perihelion, their closest approach to the Sun, in October 2025, almost simultaneously. Humanity will witness a rare spectacle: two cosmic bodies, one from within, one from beyond, plunging into the Sun's blazing glare together. And as they approach, both will vanish, swallowed by sunlight. This blind window unsettles scientists most, for if either changes speed, breaks apart, or shifts course, we will see nothing until they emerge again, if they survive. The odds stretch belief. The chance of spotting an interstellar comet at all is vanishingly small. For a massive inner comet to near the Sun within just days of it is even more implausible. Researchers likened it to two planets from opposite ends of the universe stepping onto the same stage at the exact same moment, as though a script had already been written. Both objects carry their own mysteries. Swan is hundreds of times larger than 3I/Atlas, burning brighter than any comet in recent memory. Meanwhile, 3I/Atlas, with its nickel-rich but iron-free gases and abnormal CO2 levels, has led experts like Harvard's Avi Loeb to suggest it might be artificial, perhaps technology rather than nature. Now the two enigmas converge at one decisive instant: perihelion. When Swan and 3I/Atlas vanish into the Sun's glare, humanity will be blind to their fate. In that darkness, anything could unfold: an orbital shift, a collapse, or some anomaly beyond explanation. When they reappear, their direction, their form, or even their very essence may be changed. This has fueled talk of a cosmic script. Some believe it marks an ancient cycle, remembered in myths of twin stars foretelling upheaval. Others speculate it is no coincidence, but evidence of control, an unseen hand guiding their paths. Coincidence or design, the moment is historic. For the first time, two colossal objects from different realms vanish into the Sun within days of each other. And in that gap, the answers, or greater mysteries, wait for us all. Right after Swan was confirmed as a new comet, the first numbers recorded left researchers stunned. Instead of merely reflecting sunlight, its core was emitting an unprecedented level of energy. Spectroscopic telescope readings showed that the halo surrounding Swan radiated at a power of nearly 10,000 gigawatts, a staggering figure compared to the total electricity output of Earth at the same time. To put it into perspective, the entire power grid of the United States today hovers around 1,200 gigawatts. Swan, a lone block of ice and rock adrift in space, was somehow outputting many times more. The immediate question was clear: could an ordinary comet truly unleash such immense energy? That abnormal brightness came with something even stranger. Spectral analysis revealed that around Swan, there wasn't just the usual cloud of dust and gas, but a dense layer of ionized plasma. When struck by light, This plasma reflected as if hidden metals were embedded inside. Some scientists compared it to an electromagnetic shield, capable of bending and bouncing light waves in ways that defied explanation. If true, it meant Swan was not just a melting ball of ice near the sun, but an object equipped with a protective mechanism far beyond imagination. But the surprises did not stop there. Data from international observatories, including reports from the SOHO team and the European Space Agency, showed that Swan's halo did not glow in a steady stream like other comets. Instead, it pulsed, flashing in periodic cycles. These pulses were strikingly similar to the signals produced by plasma propulsion systems that humans are only beginning to test in spaceflight technology. Plasma engines use electricity to ionize gas and generate thrust, yet their efficiency remains very low. With Swan, however, a comparable effect seemed to be occurring on a planetary scale, with power thousands of times greater than anything ever tested on Earth. This chain of observations placed Swan outside the category of a natural comet. An ancient block of dust and ice should only sublimate, releasing vapor and stone fragments. Yet Swan radiated with the power of a planet, surrounded itself with plasma that reflected like metal, and flickered in cycles like a colossal machine. More than a few experts had to admit that, at least in terms of its image and its data, Swan behaved less like a relic of the cosmos and more like a work of technology. If that hypothesis were true, the consequences would be earth-shaking. It would mean Swan might have been constructed by a civilization unknown to us, and its journey toward the sun was not random, but part of a purposeful trajectory. Some even suggested it carried a form of propulsion system, enabling it to move deliberately through space rather than drifting under natural laws. Here humanity stands at a terrifying crossroads. Is Swan truly just an ancient frozen body of dust and ice? Or is it a manufactured object sent here with a purpose we do not yet dare to name? When astronomers began running orbital simulations for Swan, one number appeared that sent a chill through many of them. Its estimated period was 22,554 years. This meant that if Swan truly followed that cycle, the last time it passed by Earth was at the end of the Ice Age, long before humanity had entered the kind of civilization we know today. Around 20,000 years ago, Earth was still frozen. Vast sheets of ice covered North America and Northern Europe, while humans lived scattered in small groups of hunters and gatherers. Yet at the same time, the first sparks of culture were emerging. The cave paintings at Chauvet, finely crafted stone tools, and faint signs that humans had already begun looking up at the sky. Could it be possible that our ancestors once saw Swan as a blazing torch tearing through the night and carried that memory into myths and oral traditions that lasted thousands of years? Indirect evidence may lie in ancient monuments. The pyramids of Egypt, built over 4,000 years ago, are often said to be aligned with constellations like Orion or Sirius. But many scholars have asked, why were the ancient Egyptians so obsessed with creating massive cosmic markers of stone, aligned with astronomical precision to the degree? Research published in Nature has shown that many axes of the Giza pyramids point exactly toward the rising of the brightest stars at the time of their construction. If they believed in a celestial body that returned on cycles spanning tens of thousands of years, perhaps these monuments were not merely tombs, but stone clocks, messages left for the future. Not only in Egypt, but also in Turkey, the ruins of Göbekli Tepe, a temple complex more than 11,000 years old, hold a similar mystery. Many of its stone pillars are carved with animals, the moon, the sun, and strange celestial symbols that defy easy explanation. A 2017 study in Mediterranean archaeology and archaeometry even suggested that the carvings at Göbekli Tepe might depict a great meteor shower that occurred about 13,000 years ago. This opens the possibility that its builders had witnessed violent cosmic events, possibly including the return of Swan on its previous orbit. If so, Swan is not only a comet, but also a witness connecting two epochs, the Ice Age of our ancestors and the modern world of today. And as it returns in 2025, we stand in the same position as those ancient people, looking up at a blazing fire crossing the sky, asking what message it carries. But here lies the chilling twist. Could the great monuments like the pyramids of Giza or Göbekli Tepe actually be cosmic markers, built to signal this very return? Could it be that ancient civilizations had recognized Swan's 22,554-year cycle and tried to engrave it into stone, hoping that one day their descendants would understand? If that hypothesis is correct, then Swan's appearance in 2025 is not just an astronomical event. It is a reminder that humanity is retracing a path first witnessed tens of thousands of years ago. And this time, with telescopes, satellites, and modern technology, the question is no longer simply, what is it, but whether it carries a message, a mission, or a warning meant for all of humankind. In recent weeks, as news of Swan spread, a strange hypothesis began circulating across both scientific forums and fringe research communities. Many argued that 3I/Atlas, the controversial interstellar object spotted earlier this year, was never alone. It was only a scout sent ahead to probe the path, gather data, or set the stage for something far larger. And Swan, with its colossal size, was the true mothership arriving afterward. Placed side by side, the contrast is haunting. Atlas is estimated to span only a few kilometers, already large enough to be considered an unusual comet. But Swan has been described by many sources as dozens or even hundreds of times larger, a moving fortress drifting through space. While Atlas carried anomalies in its composition, pure nickel without iron, a bizarre CO2 ratio, Swan revealed energy levels that shattered every understanding of natural comets. Taken together, some independent researchers asked, if Atlas is the scouting device, then Swan is nothing less than a vast mobile fortress. Some astronomers admitted that the timing of these two arrivals is hard to explain by random chance. From there, the theory of coordination emerged. 3I/Atlas arrives first, observes and measures, and then weeks later, Swan appears, as though in response, following up or even collecting the reconnaissance data. But another line of thinking pushes the idea even further and darker. If Atlas and Swan are not allies, then perhaps they are opponents. Some scholars have raised the possibility of cold conflicts in the cosmos, battles between forces humanity has never known. In that version, Atlas plays the role of hunter, while Swan is the fortress deployed to counter or block it. The idea sounds bold, but the image is undeniable. A small, agile object appearing first, followed by a massive, overwhelming one, like a chess match unfolding above our heads. What is most striking is that both trajectories lead to the same destination, the Sun, in October 2025. There, they will vanish into the solar glare, leaving humanity unable to witness the critical moment. That blind zone becomes a closed stage where they could interact, coordinate, clash, or exchange information beyond our ability to observe. Ancient civilizations once warned of twin fires in the sky, heralding great upheaval. Could this be the very scenario our ancestors tried to preserve in myth? Or is the newer hypothesis closer to the truth, that 3I/Atlas and Swan are a mysterious pair, a scout, and a fortress, carrying out a mission set in motion tens of thousands of years ago? We have no definite answer, but one fact stands clear. In just weeks, these two objects will meet in plain sight, within the blazing furnace of the Sun. And when they vanish and re-emerge, humanity will face a question no one wants to ask. Is this an arranged meeting or the beginning of a conflict playing out before our very eyes? As Swan and 3I/Atlas drew closer to the Sun, the astronomy community suddenly faced a different kind of anomaly, a strange silence from the world's major space agencies. NASA, ESA, and international observatories typically release comet images, orbital data, and spectral analyses almost in real time. Yet, from the end of September, the flow of public data on Swan and Atlas dropped sharply. The once frequent updates were reduced to dry numbers, stripped of detailed images or in-depth commentary. For those watching closely, this was an unusual gap too glaring to ignore. Worse still, many amateur groups reported being restricted from accessing raw images from space-based telescopes like SOHO or Stereo, data that had long been made publicly available. On astronomy forums, some members claimed they could no longer download the original frames, only compressed, pre-processed versions. In some cases, archive links vanished shortly after being shared. This coincidence came at the exact moment Swan began releasing its strange periodic pulses of light, and Atlas prepared to slip into the sun's glare. Against this curtain of silence, the amateur community suddenly became the front line. From backyard telescopes, mountaintop observatories, and small independent stations, they captured every frame, every streak of light, then posted them openly on social media and forums. Sites like Space Weather turned into gathering points, where rare glimpses of Swan were uploaded almost by the hour. The raw images, grainy and blurred though they were, stood as living proof that something immense was unfolding out there. It was they who spread the word that Swan's plasma halo was reflecting abnormally and that Atlas showed subtle deviations in its path as it neared the Sun. Each of these discoveries, which might have been buried in silence, instead ignited debate thanks to the power of the crowd. And here lay the chilling twist. If Swan were truly nothing more than a massive comet, there would be no reason to withhold the data. But if it were a technological construct, a fortress as some theories suggest, then a blackout would make perfect sense. Because acknowledging that reality would mean admitting humanity is no longer the only intelligence active within the solar system. Could the pulses emitted by Swan be not natural physics, but deliberate signals? Could 3I/Atlas and Swan be more than passing visitors, actors preparing for a mission written long before human memory? Quite a few experts have compared Swan to a kind of cosmic mobile communication system. Its repeating light pulses resemble Morse code signals written in beams of light. If this is treated as a message, then Swan is not just an inanimate object, but a transmitter. The immediate question follows: if it really is sending signals, who are they for? And why choose the year 2025 to appear? A bold counter theory flips the idea. Swan might not be the first move, but the response. Since the 1970s, humanity has deliberately broadcast messages into space. In 1974, the Arecibo Observatory sent the first radio message toward the M13 star cluster, carrying information about DNA, the solar system, and the human form. In the half-century since, thousands of radio signals have continued to radiate into the cosmos. If an extraterrestrial civilization has been listening, they have had plenty of time to notice and to reply. The sudden appearance of Swan, precisely at a moment when humanity has the tools to observe it in detail, leads many to wonder, could this be the answer to greetings we sent decades ago? Within this context, independent research forums point out another striking coincidence. Swan was discovered just a few years after humanity's strongest broadcasting projects, like the METI program, began sending continuous signals to nearby star systems. In Nature Astronomy, Experts once warned that open broadcasts might carry unpredictable consequences because we cannot know who or what might answer. Today, that possibility is no longer a distant hypothesis, but something looming directly in the sky. Not everyone is convinced, however. Some cautious scientists argue that what we see is nothing more than an astronomical illusion. Plasma bursts as the object nears the sun, light refracted through dust and gas, creating cycles that only appear to be pulses. In their view, humanity is once again overinterpreting natural phenomena, turning them into an alien contact narrative, much like the UFO stories of the past. This divide has left the public in a dilemma. On one side lies the belief that we are witnessing a first contact moment, the historic event humanity has both longed for and feared. On the other stands the warning that it is all illusion, born of hope and imagination. Between those lines, only one undeniable fact remains. Swan and 3I/Atlas are real, both disappearing into the sun's glare this October, and the world still has no certainty about what will happen next. Two colossal objects, Swan and 3I/Atlas, are racing toward a fateful rendezvous with the sun. One arrives from distant interstellar space, carrying within it a strange metallic composition never seen before. The other appeared suddenly, blazing like a torch, described as being hundreds of times larger than its counterpart. Both are independent, with separate trajectories, yet both will vanish into the sun's blinding glare in October 2025. Perhaps this is nothing more than a rare coincidence among the countless accidents of the cosmos, a moment scientists were lucky enough to witness, to be explained gradually with complex mathematical models. But it could also be the beginning of a story beyond imagination, from the strange light pulses and the metallic reflecting plasma to a cycle spanning tens of thousands of years. The pieces are forming a picture too striking to ignore. While the theories surrounding Swan and 3I/Atlas sound like the script of a science fiction movie, what matters now is that we wait for official data from the space agencies. NASA, ESA, and international observatories are continuing to watch closely, and in the coming weeks, when both objects emerge from the sun's glare, humanity may finally have clearer answers. We may witness a spectacular natural phenomenon, or uncover something that changes our understanding of the universe itself. Whatever the outcome, this is already a historic moment, and MindGap will bring you updates the instant the truth is revealed. So what do you think? Are Swan and 3I/Atlas a gift from the cosmos or a grim warning? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next mystery that MindGap will help you decode.